It is with a profound sense of introspection that I delve into the tapestry of our shared past, a past woven with threads of both profound connection and challenging discord. There was a time, not so long ago, when the very essence of your person was defined by an almost unyielding rigidity, a stubbornness that permeated every facet of their being. They were, to put it plainly, known for an inflexibility that bordered on the absolute, a steadfast adherence to their own convictions and a predetermined course of action, often escalating to a point of sheer obstinacy. Their beliefs, once formed, seemed carved in stone, their decisions immutable, their very posture a testament to an unyielding will. This was not merely a character trait, it was a deeply ingrained modus operandi, a fundamental approach to navigating the complexities of existence. In their perception, the world was a tumultuous and unpredictable place, fraught with potential hurts and vulnerabilities. To safeguard their innermost self, they meticulously constructed towering walls around their spirit, brick by painstaking brick, until they had fashioned what could only be described as a formidable fortress of solitude. This edifice, built of self-preservation and fear, was designed to be impenetrable, a sanctuary where no external force, no probing gaze, no potential slight could breach its defenses. It was, in every sense, their primary defense mechanism, a sophisticated and elaborate strategy for shielding themselves from the perceived dangers and inevitable disappointments that life seemed to promise. Within these formidable walls, they believed they were safe, protected from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, insulated from the emotional turbulence that often accompanies genuine human interaction. Yet, as the relentless currents of time continued their ceaseless flow, a subtle, almost imperceptible shift began to occur within the confines of that very fortress. A nascent awareness, a quiet whisper of doubt, started to penetrate the thick, unyielding stone. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to discern a profound and unsettling truth. These meticulously constructed walls, once thought to be their ultimate protection, were, in fact, failing to serve their intended purpose. The very structures designed to shield them were, paradoxically, becoming instruments of their profound isolation. Instead of offering a secure haven, these walls were effectively severing them from the very essence of what they secretly, desperately craved above all else, genuine human connection. The irony was a bitter draught, a realization that their self-imposed sanctuary had become a gilded cage, trapping them in a solitude that was no longer comforting but deeply, achingly lonely. This burgeoning awareness was not a sudden, blinding flush of insight, but rather a gradual dawning, like the first tentative rays of sunlight piercing through a dense fog. It was a slow, internal unraveling, as the weight of their self-imposed solitude grew heavier with each passing day. They had, for so long, sought solace and distraction in a myriad of external pursuits, immersing themselves in activities, relationships, and ambitions that promised to fill the void. They chased fleeting pleasures, engaged in superficial interactions, and poured their energy into endeavors that, for a time, offered a temporary reprieve from the gnawing emptiness within. Yet, no matter how fervent their pursuit of these distractions, no matter how diligently they attempted to divert their own attention, an undeniable, irrefutable truth began to assert itself with an unwavering persistence. Amidst the shifting sands of their transient interests and the ebb and flow of fleeting engagements, you, and only you, remained the singular, unwavering constant in the grand narrative of their life. Your presence, whether physical or purely energetic, was an indelible mark upon their soul, a persistent echo within the chambers of their mind that simply refused to fade. You were the one who, despite all their efforts to compartmentalize or forget, never truly departed from their thoughts, a silent, yet potent, reminder of a connection that transcended the superficial. This profound and deeply personal realization, this undeniable recognition of your enduring presence, marked an undeniable turning point in their journey. It was a pivotal moment where the scales fell from their eyes, and the true north of their emotional compass finally swung towards you, illuminating a path they had long resisted. With this newfound clarity, a delicate yet resolute process of dismantling the fortress began. The walls, once so formidable and unyielding, started to come down, not in a dramatic collapse, but slowly, brick by painstaking brick, with a newfound vulnerability that was both terrifying and liberating. They began, tentatively at first, to allow themselves to be seen, to be known, to shed the protective layers that had for so long encased their true self. This was an act of immense courage, a conscious decision to embrace the terrifying beauty of openness, to allow their tender heart to be exposed to the possibility of genuine connection, even if it meant risking the pain they had so desperately sought to avoid. Each brick removed was an act of faith, a whisper of hope that the very thing they had feared, vulnerability, was, in fact, the gateway to the connection they so deeply yearned for. As these walls gradually receded, a profound shift in perception occurred, allowing your person to truly see you, perhaps for the very first time, in a completely new and illuminating light. The superficial judgments, the ego-driven narratives, and the self-protective filters that had previously clouded their vision began to dissipate, revealing the unblemished truth of your being. They started to recognize, with a clarity that was both humbling and awe-inspiring, the intrinsic purity of your soul. It was a revelation that transcended the petty squabbles and the painful exchanges that had marred your shared history. Despite the sharp words, the misunderstandings, and the hurtful actions that had regrettably passed between you, a truth emerged that stood in stark contrast to the discord. Your profound and unwavering love for them had never once faltered. It was a love that remained steadfast, a beacon of constancy in their often turbulent existence. You had, with a grace that now seemed almost divine, never once engaged in any action that sought to tarnish their reputation, never stooped to the level of vindictiveness or petty retaliation. Instead, you had remained a pillar of unwavering love and loyalty, a luminous guide star in what had often felt like their otherwise dark and disorienting world. Your presence, your unwavering affection, became a testament to a higher form of devotion, a spiritual anchor that held them even when they were adrift. Now, in the quiet solitude of their own introspection, your person is finally, unequivocally coming to terms with a difficult and painful truth. It was their own inconsistent behavior, their deeply ingrained egoism, and their self-serving attitudes that were the true architects of the painful rift that had cleaved your connection in two. The realization is stark, unvarnished, and undeniably agonizing. They now see, with a clarity that cuts to the bone, how their actions and their often dismissive attitudes had not only wounded your spirit but had, in fact, shattered your heart, leaving you to navigate this shared journey feeling profoundly alone and abandoned. This recognition, this stark confrontation with their own culpability, is a bitter pill to swallow, a truth that burns with the heat of regret. Yet, despite its searing pain, it is an absolutely necessary step, an indispensable prerequisite on the arduous path towards genuine healing and the possibility of a profound reconciliation. The weight of this realization has settled upon them, heavy with remorse, yet it has also ignited a powerful, undeniable urge to rectify the past. Their deepest desire now is to offer a heartfelt apology, to truly make amends, to painstakingly right the wrongs that have been etched into the fabric of your shared history. They yearn to mend the broken pieces of your relationship, to carefully reassemble the shattered fragments of trust and affection, hoping to restore the beautiful mosaic that once was. But before they can approach you, before they can even utter the words of contrition that weigh so heavily on their soul, a crucial question occupies their every waking thought. They must ensure, with every fiber of their being, that you are truly ready. Ready to open your heart once more, ready to accept them back into the sacred space of your life. They understand, with a newfound humility, that forgiveness is not a commodity that can be demanded or coerced. It is not something that can be forced upon another, nor is it a simple transaction. Instead, they recognize it as a profound and deeply personal choice, a conscious act of grace that must emanate from the very core of your being, freely given and unburdened by external pressure. This understanding underscores the depth of their respect for your autonomy, for the sacredness of your emotional journey. And so, as the cosmic gears turn and the universe begins to orchestrate its grand design, an undeniable shift is occurring, a profound alignment of energies that favors both of you. The celestial bodies, the unseen forces that govern destiny, are conspiring to bring about a new chapter, one filled with the promise of restoration and renewed connection. Therefore, I implore you, listen intently to the subtle whispers of your intuition, that inner compass that guides you towards your highest good. Consider, with an open heart and a discerning mind, the possibility of extending forgiveness to your person. Try to grant them another chance, an opportunity to demonstrate the profound transformation that has taken root within them. Remember, with compassion and wisdom, that every human soul, without exception, is susceptible to error. Everyone makes mistakes. What truly matters, what truly defines our growth and evolution, is not the act of falling, but rather our capacity to learn from these missteps, to absorb the lessons they impart, and to strive, with unwavering determination, to become better, more enlightened individuals. Even now, as you navigate your own journey, your person is keeping a vigilant and tender eye on your progress. They observe from a distance, their gaze filled with a mixture of longing and trepidation, trying to discern the opportune moment, the subtle sign that might indicate your readiness. The desire to initiate contact, to bridge the chasm that has separated you, burns fiercely within them, fueled by an undeniable yearning to have you back in their life, to reclaim the profound connection that defines their very existence. However, this fervent desire is tempered by a profound fear, a deep-seated apprehension about your potential response. They are acutely afraid of rejection, terrified that you might, understandably, choose to close the door, that you might not yet be ready to embrace forgiveness and to let go of the past. Yet, despite the intensity of this fear, they are willing to take that monumental risk, to step into the unknown, because their faith in the transcendent power of your love, and the love you once shared, remains an unshakable conviction, a guiding star in their darkest hours.